chão, eu desci, vou até o chão, eu desci, vou até o chão, até o chão, até o chão, desci, vou até o chão, desci, vou até o chão, eu desci, vou até o chão, até o chão, até o chão.
Peace, family. QI Critical Thinking is in the building. And for everybody that's here, even the Sky Watchers, I love and appreciate y'all. If y'all could please remember to hit that like and share. And also, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. All right. And I'm going to give shout outs in just a moment to the people in the building. So if you're in the building, if you want to shout out, just say hello in the chat and I will give you a shout out. I'd like to say hello to Miss TR up in the building. All right. And thank you. Yeah, this is like, I like hats. It's, one of my favorite hats. And I finally wore something that sort of matched. So I just sort of, put it on. But today, I'm going to talk about the difference between spirituality and religion. A lot of people think that spirituality and religion are the same. They're not. They're actually, now religion has some components of spirituality, but it's not it in completion. So, today I wanted to, sort of bring out the difference between, like religion and spirituality, just so that we would know. And because, there's some very important aspects of spirituality as well. Thank you, Miss TRZ, Miss TR. Miss TR said the music sounds like Curtis Mayfield from back in the day. I love some Curtis Mayfield. Yes, diamonds in the back. A lot of Curtis Mayfield stuff. I can't even remember the name of it, but I like that old school soul funk type of feel too. Carolina Blue in the building. Hello. Yeah. So I'm going to do some screen sharing as well to keep me on point because, I tried to go off the heart because I am, I'm a spiritual based person. I meditate. I do things, and I'm not suggesting that you have to do these things, but, I do these things because I want to stay grounded and connected to nature and God. So like I sun gaze, I keep up with, like time. And I'll explain more about that. And I'm gonna be very, I'm trying to be very careful. I know a lot of people who may follow me, a lot of people in the audience, they're well versed on spirituality. So I'm gonna try not to go like, I'm trying to, stay on a safe marker because right now I pretty much just want to present the difference between spirituality and religion. So I'm gonna do a little screen sharing here. If you'll bear with me just a moment. And bear with me just so that I can make sure that I'm actually sharing. All right. Okay, so I got some pointers off of the Divine Intellect website because I didn't want to rely wholeheartedly just on myself. So let me just say, from my own personal understanding of the difference between spirituality and religion, is that spirituality teaches us how to master ourselves And when I say ourselves, I mean internally and externally. I mean like how to master our emotions, how to master, like our body, our health, how to master our minds and our mental, how to master, like how to master ourselves. Whereas religion, basically instructs people on how to worship. But let me go down this list because I don't want to say the same thing twice. Okay, and here from this, I'm going to go down this little chart. It says spirituality, belief that the divine is within us all. Spirituality believes that the divine is within us all. I wholeheartedly know that to be true. We are all created by the divine. It's also stated that like we're all pieces or atoms or parts of the divine. So we're all connected to the divine. And what spirituality does is it gives you that one-on-one connection with the divine instead of basically, feeling as though you have to go, through extra people or extra sources. You have that one-on-one direct connection with the divine. Okay, religion, on the other hand, believes in a superhuman power outside of you, the creator of the universe. So spirituality believes that the divine is also within you, also a part of you, whereas religion believes that it's outside of us and us all. Okay, and spirituality deals with personal beliefs and a value system, meaning that like Buddhists, say that we're all responsible for our actions, and pretty much it means that like with spirituality, that we know, or that you're just as responsible for what goes on in the world as the world itself. Like if the world is chaotic, it's because we're making the world chaotic. The world is not chaotic on its own. Okay, whereas religion dictated, they have dictated beliefs, and just like you have thou shalt not, the 10 commandments, and a conditioned mind, which means that you have rules, guidelines, and you have doctrines and different things to follow. Spirituality, God is on the inside. With religion, God is on the outside. And just think about it. Now let me just slow down a little bit with that one. With spirituality, we go within. You go within yourself, to connect, with God or the higher source, or whatever you might want to, refer to it, because it's a language, it's etymology. But however you refer to God or the higher source, with spirituality, we go within. Okay, with religion, you're praying up. It's outward. It's not inward. Like we're just like, for instance, let me put it this way. I am my mother's daughter. I am my father's daughter. Therefore, I share my father and mother's DNA. But also being a part of sharing my mother and father's DNA, because my mother and father share their mother and father's DNA, I also share both their mother and father's DNA. So, like my ancestors, my grandparents are also within me, are also a part of me. My parents are also a part of me, because we all share DNA. So that's pretty much how spirituality looks at God. God is a part of our DNA. God is an direct ancestor and is a part of us. Okay, whereas with religion looks at God as being external, on the outside, in heaven. Okay, and with spirituality, people's inherent goodness. Okay, like, and with spirituality, we believe in the law of attractions. We believe that you receive what you put out. Or and even sometimes, in bad is really good, because even with bad experiences, a lot of times you're gonna learn either a lesson or a blessing. Like with bad experiences. So when bad things happen, it's not necessarily bad. It's not because you did something to deserve that bad stuff. It's because there was a life lesson to learn. With spirituality, we believe that life is a journey. Life is a journey. It's something that, it's something that we need to learn in order to grow wisdom, in order to ascend, to a higher mental and spiritual state. So, in spirituality, nothing is really bad. Nothing is accidental. Everything has a cause and a purpose and a reason. And, we believe that what you put out is what you receive. How you think, I think, therefore I am, which means that if you think negative, you're going to attract negativity. Like if you do negative, you're going to attract negativity, so, whatever frequency, whatever energy, whatever vibe that you put out with spirituality, that's generally what you're going to attract. And with religion, basically religion believes in people's inherent sinfulness. They believe that, like in sin and paying for your sins, or, like and also when you die, you can repent for your sins. So like in religion, that's the difference, in spirituality and religion. With spirituality, you draw. What you put out is what you receive. What's internal is what's going to radiate external, and is 9 times out of 10 what you're going to attract. And so let me slow down just a little bit. I want to, speak to some other people that came into the chat. And if there's any questions, we can do it as we go. But also, I wanted to say hello to Regina M in the building. Hello. Regina M said, peace and blessings to all here because the title pulled me in. Very interesting topic. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll try to answer them as best as possible. Miss TR said, I have a personal relationship with God and I don't need another human to get God for him to hear my prayers, which is just talking to God. Facts. It's just like, I don't need another person to talk. I don't need another person to talk to my mom or dad. I didn't need to go through another person to talk to my mom and dad. And they're also my creators. And my grandparents are also my creators. They're my creators. They're my creators. And I didn't need to go through like another person to talk to them or to communicate with them or to have interactions with them. So why would I need to go through another person to have a direct, an interaction, with the highest source or the higher creator? Exactly. I agree. Okay. And let's move on. It says with spirituality is spiritual development. Now let me break that down for you. Let's break down the word spirit, UAL. And I'm going to type it in the chat. We are all spirits. Okay. And with spirituality, basically, it's your own personal spiritual, your own personal inner, your own personal emotional, your own personal mental, your own personal spiritual development. Your own, like it's your own, like we're saying, you don't need to go through anybody else to communicate with the creator, with God. You have that direct connection. So, it's like basically with your spiritual development, you're ascending higher, you're increasing that connectivity. And basically how you do that in spirituality, we believe that, like God is nature. We are nature. We're all nature. So like, like you want to stay grounded with nature. You want to, and I don't mean, I don't mean that you can't have a computer and different things like that. No, I'm saying that you like you need to stay grounded with nature. And it's how you harmonize and interact with nature. The more in harmony you are with nature, the more in harmony you are with other natural beings, the more in harmony you are going to be with the higher source or with God. Okay. And in religion, it's about worship. It's about, okay, you worship God. Now that doesn't mean in spirituality, it's like every day when you get up, you should say, I'm thankful, I'm grateful, I'm thankful for whatever you have. Because if you're not grateful or thankful for whatever you have, it's just like if I was to give you a bowl of rice. I use this analogy with one of my friends today. If I was to give you a bowl of rice, just say, come over and say, here, why don't you have this nice bowl of rice? And like you say, is this all you have? Well, that's not going to make me want to go get you another bowl of rice. But if I say, here, have a bowl of rice, and you say, thank you, thank you, thank you, so much, I really needed this bowl of rice, or whatever. You don't even have to go that deep, but I'm just saying thank you. That would encourage me more to go get you another bowl of rice. So, like, why would the creator, or why would the higher source want to keep feeding you good things and blessings and gifts and rewards, or whatever you might want to call them, if you're not grateful for what you've already been given? So in spirituality, we believe that you should be grateful for what you've already been given, no matter how big or how small. Okay. And hello, lovely one. Lovely one is in the building. We're talking about spirituality, the difference between spirituality and religion. Okay. And with yeah, so spiritual development is, like developing yourself, developing, like your inner self. With religion, it's like worship. It's like being grateful to God. I don't know. I know I don't have to explain it, because we've all been through. We all been through sort of like their religious path. I would assume, with church, or because I came up Christian, a lot of different things. So we've all been through that path. So you know what I mean. Like we believe in worshiping God. We believe in worship. I mean, it's worship. So religion is about worship, and spirituality is about inner spiritual personal development. Okay. Now, with spirituality, it deals with your authentic self. And when we say authentic self, that's the self. Let's imagine if we were in a world and there was no such thing as cars, no such thing as houses, no such thing as clothes, and we all looked alike. Let's just imagine if we all looked alike. We all looked alike. The only thing that was different was our character and our spirit, our characters and our spirit. Okay. And what we like, what we don't like, our characteristics and different things like that. Okay. Well, that's your authentic self. Your authentic self is the self without anything, the naked self, the real self, the true self, the unconditioned self, the self that thinks and feels and believes from self, and not believes from what we've been taught. See, it's hard to, know what the authentic self is in this type of system, in the kind of world we've been born in, because like from the time that we've been a baby growing up, like we've been like taught, like in school, we're taught to think this way. We're taught this is how this is, this is how this is, and this is how this is. Okay. With authentic self, it's like your feelings without being taught, or your feelings without coming from another opinion or another person's belief. It's like what you actually believe, what you actually feel, like how you are actually internally from within yourself. Okay. Now, with religion, it's about the conditioned self. And what I mean by that is, like, there are certain rules and certain things that, like with most religions, just like, with the Muslims and different things, women have to wear the hijab. And, it's like, and that's what I mean. It's like certain rules and stuff, when it comes down to different religions that you must follow. So religion is more about the conditioned self, following the doctrines, following the rules, the following the Ten Commandments, and such on. And authentic self is just like, imagine if you was in this naked world, you was out here and you were wandering through a forest, or you was wandering through the world free. And, like, and everything that you gather comes from like what you see freely, and not like, actually like from you being taught or told, or you being taught or told or instructed. So that's the difference. Okay. And spirituality is joyous living. Yes, because with spirituality, and the reason that, like, they're saying that spirituality means joyous living, because you learn in spirituality, by you going inside yourself and being your authentic self, you learn that a lot of external things don't have much value, and does not validate or make you who you are. And you learn how to master your mind, yourself, to be able to survive through all different types of conditions, mind over matter. It's like, if you didn't have heat, you would learn a way to either mentally condition yourself to, to stay warm, or, like you would learn a way to, stay covered. Whereas, you wouldn't think that, okay, well, I have to have, this silk, I have to have this comforter set, or I have to have this essential air and heat. You would be able to, rely strictly on, okay, well, I'm going to go make make a way to get, like our ancestors. They made things out of bear skin. They made things out of they made things, leaves. They would take leaves or whatever, and, basically find a way to be warm. You be warm and be content with those leaves, and be content with, the bear skin or the animal skin or whatever. In today's world, or in religion, is conditioning, which means that, okay, we have to, like, okay, in order to stay warm, we feel that, we have to have air and heat, central air or central heat. And that's like, and a lot of the older people even talk about this today, because back in the day, they didn't have central air and heat. Some didn't even have electricity. And, they talk about, the different methods and stuff that they use to survive, and how, like, today, when we're in a car or whatever, we don't have air. We're like, oh, it's so hot. If we're in a house or something and there's no air, oh, it's so hot during the summertime. Back then, they didn't have that. They were content with their little fans. They were content with raising the windows. They were content with going under a shade tree. So therefore, their minds was unconditioned. They learned the natural way of, surviving. They learned, they didn't have a condition, for love. They didn't have a condition for, a condition to survive. Whereas today, it's like, we have to have, like, even down to, like, cars and name brands, and, all different types of things. We have to, if you're not rolling in a 2015 at least, or 2019 at least, your car is old, or, different things of that nature. Or if you don't have a car, different things of that nature. Like back in that day, they walked or rode horses, or, whatever, and they were content and they found ways to get back and forth, or to do what they needed to do. And that's the difference between authentic, natural, and conditioned, being dependent upon something. Okay, and I'm gonna take a moment or so to read the chat. Miss TR said the word of God says, if you are faithful and appreciate what is little, God can trust to give you more. That's a fact. Lovely One said, I'm more towards spirituality over religion. Religion can feel rigid sometimes. I agree. But I don't, no offense to anybody who's religious. This is not about this. This is like, my purpose for doing this is really to look to help us to overcome, because we have so many different religions. We have so many different beliefs. And basically it's to, like, show us that we all have something in common, and we don't have to, like, we don't have to, like, if you're not, like, just like, if you're not a spiritual person, I don't have to say, I don't like you, I'm not dealing with you. No, like, basically we have to, like, feel or see where people are coming from. We have to experience, we have to go down the road. We have to, we have to meet or learn a person, or learn things before, we can actually judge, or, basically discriminate. I'll put it that way. Okay. And Regina M says, question, can you explain religion versus the Bible and spirituality versus the Bible? Yes. You trying to get me in trouble, Regina? I'm trying to stay safe here. Well, I sort of have. And shout out to Jay Wilson. For anybody who's a follower of Jay Wilson today, on his live stream, he was also talking about a little bit of this. One of the things that we have to remember, like especially being over here in the West, the religion came from the East, and and a lot of the religions and stuff, by the time that it gets to the West, is broken down or it's watered down, because a lot of times what happens is, it comes from different languages. Like the original language of the Bible was Hebrew. Okay, so in order to get to a more original context of the meaning of the Bible, you will have to, sort of revert back to the Hebrew language. Everybody agrees that English language is by far the worst, because for one thing, it takes us so many words to get to the right meaning, and then even then the meanings are poor. So, English language is the worst language. And in order to, like really, and you know how you, like, if I was to tell one person something, I would say, go tell 20, 30 people. By the time they get to the 30th person, the story then changed all the way together. And that's how you have to look at, when these different, them breaking, the Bible down 7 different languages, because basically the Bible was basically translated down from 7 different languages. So you would have to, basically go to that. And then even before that, you would have to go to the original scrolls. All right. So, the Bible is not really to be taken. A lot of people don't know how to read the Bible. Therefore, there's a lot of misinterpretations when it comes down to the Bible. A lot of, people are being, basically taught wrong, because the words and everything are not accurate. And the Bible is allegories. And what I mean by that is, it's like fables and tales. See, back in the day, in our ancestors' time, they taught us stuff in storytelling. They taught us stuff, or they basically expanded our minds. They basically expanded our spirits. They basically brought understanding through storytellings and fables and different things of that nature, so that we can gain understanding. And that is somewhat like the Bible. The Bible is allegories, it's parables. So, and in the Hebrew languages, even the names that we see, it has a meaning. So you have to even understand the Hebrew meaning of the names in order to understand the full context of the Bible. There's a lot of science, there's a lot of math, there's a lot of things in the Bible, and a lot of people don't know that, because of the simple fact that there are a lot of people who don't really understand or know truly fully how to read the Bible. But the Bible also deals with a lot of spirituality, just like, for instance, Jacob's ladder. Jacob's ladder is actually our chakra system, or our spinal cord. See, our spinal cord has points. There's a reason for our spinal cord. It has, like points. Like right here is my chakra. Is my communication chakra. This is the chakra that's responsible, for me being able to communicate accurately. Here is my crown chakra. This is the chakra that, basically connects me to the higher source. Just like, think about it. Your mind basically is, like what, elevates you higher. Your throat chakra is basically, it's a midway point. Really, I'm going to be honest with you. The midway point is the heart. The heart is the central location, the central of everything. Because, just like they say, you have to first love yourself in order to love other people. And love is like the answer. Everything encompasses love. Once you learn how to love, and once we learn how to truly love, and I mean like love unconditionally, then, then you're sort of becoming whole. You're sort of becoming whole. So I'm just going to say that there is Jacob's ladder is like the chakra system, the spinal cord. Some people call it the Kundalini, Kundalini, and different things of that nature. There's like different things per culture, per, religion. But, like there's a lot of spirituality based in the Bible, just like the pineal gland, which is this little bitty pea-sized thing in our head that, when it's not clogged It gives us like psychic abilities. It's what is responsible for our third eye. And what the third eye is, it's the spiritual eye. It's the like all-seeing eye. It's the eye of understanding. It's the eye that can see things that are not physical. It's the eye of faith. I'll put it that way. And so in there it talks about, I think it's Mount Pineal or something like that. And that's a representation of the pineal gland. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of spirituality within the Bible. Yet a lot of people who are religious, especially Christians, they think that it's just like it's numerology in the Bible. There's even a scripture. I mean, there's even a whole chapter for numerology. There's astrology, especially Revelations, and they're talking about the constellations and the stars. When you talk about the 13 tribes, you talk about the 12 tribes, you talk about the 12 moon cycles, you're talking about which are the zodiacs. And it's really 13. It's really 13 because we're on a different calendar. So yes, there's a lot of spirituality in the Bible, and because of the fact that we're in the Western, and because of the breakdowns of the languages and different things of that nature, a lot of people don't really understand fully how to read the Bible, and they don't know that the Bible is actually not a bad thing at all. It's just that people don't really understand how to interpret it. I'll put it that way. Okay, so I'm gonna read the chat again, and I hope I explained it. Did I explain that pretty good for you? Was that lovely one? Yeah, and the Bible is also missing. There are books missing from the Bible. I think it's 66 books. There are books missing from the Bible. So there's a lot in the Bible that is missing translation, because we rely on another person's translation, what another person believed that what they saw. They looked at what they saw and they said that this means this. So we're relying on another person's interpretation or in our perspective of what they saw when they read the scrolls. Okay, and Miss TR said the Old Testament is religion of works. The New Testament is the spirituality, whereas it does not work because Jesus took care of it. Okay, and Lovely One said, how can the Bible be accurate when it was written 3,400 years after Jesus died? Like Lovely, I got you. We're on the same page. However, basically, I want people to come to their own understanding. I just want to put knowledge out there, and I just want to expand people's minds. I want to expand people's minds. I want to give people some knowledge that I've acquired and let people get there on their own, because it's like I had to get there on my own. And I know that and I know I was there when I was rejecting information and knowledge as well. Like I rejected a lot of information and knowledge as well. So I'm not, trying to present things, to a point where people have to reject it. I'm trying to present things in a perspective where people can grow. And it's not offensive to anybody, and people can pretty well grow on their own. Okay, our religions follow the 10 Commandments, which is the main guidelines, I believe. Well, actually, to be honest with you, Miss TR, Christianity and Islam, they're almost one and the same, because Christianity came from Islam, and Islam came from Kemetic science. It came from the Egyptians in Kemetic science, and in Kemetic science they had 300 or something commandments, or 300 and something rules, like the 10 Commandments. Some of those 10 Commandments were also in there, but they had over 300. And I think even the people who are Hebrew, I think their Bible or their Torah consists of more commandments than the King James or the Bible that we have in the Western world. Okay, and Renee Lottie said, peace and prosperity to y'all. Interesting conversation. Thank you very much. Lovely One said, Miss TR, I agree. The text commandments pretty much said it's all on how we supposed to live. Lovely One said 10. Yeah, if you go into Kemetic science, the Book of the Dead, or the Book of the Dead, I believe. I have to tell y'all later. I'm gonna be more accurate later, but I believe that it's the Book of the Dead, and it has all of, it has a whole lot of laws and a whole lot of like sort of instructions, sort of just like the Ten Commandments. And it's like 300 of them, I believe. I'm not 100% sure about the number or whatever, because I've studied a lot of things and sometimes stuff jumbles together. Thank you, Regina M. Shout out to new Regina M. For being a new subscriber. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Regina M. There's my girl, Drunk Again, making the building. Everyone is welcome to comment. No disrespectful, right? And ask any questions, because I'm not here to disrespect. I'm not here to, I'm not here. I'm just here to teach and teach what I've learned, and and open up minds and stuff like that. I'm not speaking on this subject to offend anyone. That's not my intention. Okay, so back to the topic. Okay, spirituality, it includes science and spiritual laws, like numerology, sacred sciences, like numerology, like sacred geometry. Like even in Islam, they follow sacred geometry. They follow seven, with the seven and all that. Um they follow numerology. They follow astrology. They follow anatomy, because anatomy is also a science that is included in spirituality. Just like when we're talking about the chakra system, just like we're talking about the pineal gland, that's anatomy. So like basically, like with spiritual science and spiritual laws, it connects us with nature. Spirituality helps you as self to master oneself. Spirituality connects you with the nature, the natural part of yourself, because we are nature. Spirituality, it frees your ego, and where you can become your complete authentic self. Ego is mental, and thoughts, sometimes our thoughts, like they say, you got the good devil, the bad devil. I mean, the good angel, the bad angel, or whatever. And that's basically dealing with your thoughts. Okay. And so, like sometimes those negative thoughts, I have to tell my grandma, those are the devil, and the positive thoughts are, so you got good, evil, you got good and evil, positive and negative, and all of that stuff counts. It's like the yin and the yang. All of that stuff counts. And like I said earlier, the more we're into laws of attraction, which is another science, like we're energy. So like we're gonna, just like when you shock yourself, just like you rub up against carpet, whatever, you shock yourself. You shock yourself. We're energy as well. So we're gonna connect, and and that's that negative energy. Negative energy that brings about that shock. It's two different types of frequencies, two different types of energies. So like basically when you're in harmony, there will be no shock, and things will work smoothly. So you're gonna like, and that's what I mean, like things that you're supposed to attract, things that are coming your way. If you like are positive and you're open to it, it's gonna come. If you're negative, then you're blocking, like they say, blocking your blessings. You're blocking your good, you're blocking your happiness, you're blocking a lot of different things, by that negative frequency, that negative energy, that negative thoughts. So thoughts matter. And that's also, it's mental science, mental science, which psychology, but there's a such thing as sacred psychology, not the same as the psychology that we have of today. Okay, so that's when I say spiritual science and spiritual laws is sacred laws and sacred sciences. Okay, whereas religion is more faith-based. It's like you pray and you believe, which is good. Like, which is good, is the same thing as meditation, which is the same thing as meditating, the same thing, because with meditation it's the same thing as prayer, except you don't utter words. You sit and you open your mind, and you basically you, without words, you think about the things, or you try to attract the things that you want. So it's pretty much the same, except that prayer deals with words, And with spirituality, it's like we remove the words. It's like you using your mind, you using your mind and your spirit, your mind and your soul to attract the things that you want. It's more like mental and spiritual than saying words. And I'm not saying good or bad. I think that prayer is good, and because some people see a lot of these practices like prayer, and the way that prayer was taught was because our ancestors taught people how to meditate, and they couldn't get it, so our ancestors broke down a way where it'll be easier for them to grab. And some people need something physical, and that's one of the reasons that I'm not trying to take away or not trying to tell anybody not to be religious, because some people need religion. Some people need that outside external connection with man until they grow strong enough to depend on oneself to have that direct connection. So like that's why I'm not going to take that away, because some people need that. But when you become strengthened and when you begin to master yourself, when you begin to become a lot more authentic self and confident within yourself and things of that nature, then like you don't need those external things. You should be able to have a direct connection or direct with your ancestors, with God, with nature. You should be able to you're in harmony. You should be able to do that without being dependent upon something else or someone else. I'll put it that way. Okay, and spirituality presents oriented. Heaven is a state of mind. Um, let me say this before I say this. Okay, even in the Bible, it says ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It says that our body is temporary, it's just a shell, but we're spirits, and we live on and we linger on beyond this body, beyond this carbon, which is the ashes that go back dust to dust. Okay, so like the real us is nothing to do with this body. The real us has everything to do with internal. Okay, because we don't internally, we never die. Spiritually, we never die. We never die. And ashes to ashes, dust to dust, but the spirit lingers on. That's what that means, and that's of the Bible. So even the Bible says that. Okay? So everything is mental and spiritual beyond this realm. We're on a low level. Like we said, this is the lowest level, the lowest frequency. Some people say low hanging fruit. We're on the lowest. We're the lowest level. The physical is the lowest level. The mental, then spiritual. So you want to ascend, or you want to elevate higher. You want to be completely reliant upon more of your mental, because your mind regulates your body. Just like even in terms of mental health or psychology, your mind regulates your body. If your mind is bad, your body's going to be bad. So like you need to keep your mind regulated and your mind healthy in order for your body to be healthy. So like when people go to the doctor and they get physical checkups, but they don't go get mental checkups, or they're not, resting, they're not meditating, they're not, like giving that brain a break, putting that brain in peace. When they're overstressing, overworking your brain, you're like, that brain is what tells my hand to do this. My brain is what tells my eyes to think. My brain is what's telling me to speak. So if I don't take care of my brain, if I don't take care of my mental, if I don't take care of my spiritual, then my body is going to fail. And it's as simple as that. Okay. So, and then like what I mean, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Our bodies are temporary temples. They're temporary. Okay. So in spirituality, we believe that heaven is a state of mind. And why heaven is a state of mind? Because we're mental and we're spiritual energy. We're mental and we're spiritual beings. So, and we're like, I think I heard Jay Wilson say this. Shout out to Jay Wilson. I wish everybody would give me credit for some of the stuff that they get from me. But, I believe in giving credit where credit is due. He said, we're water people. So like, it's like we like how, whatever, like however, what we put out is what we receive in. Okay. So like, okay, it's the same thing. It's like our mental and our, like whatever, we are positive. If we're positive, we're going to attract positive. We're going to be positive. We're going to be in a heavenly state. If we're not, we're going to be in a hellish type of state. You're going to be in a negative, low frequency, negative type of state. And that's what you're attracting because that's what you're putting out. And it's just as simple as that. Okay. Whereas with religion, heaven is a place that you go, is a physical place. Okay. So with spirituality, heaven is in the mind because we're spirits, we're energies, we're energies. And with religion, we're taught that heaven is a state of mind. And I hope I explained the difference between those two pretty good. With spirituality, the connection to nature. And if you know that humans are also nature and we're part of nature, so how you harmonize, how you connect, how do you interact with nature, it's spiritual, it's important what you're putting out, what you're giving to the next person. We're responsible, for the earth. We're responsible for nature. We're responsible for this earth. We're responsible, for how the world is today. That, we're responsible for our actions. Our actions is what creates the world. That's like what spirituality believe. So spirituality is like human relationships, natural, your connection with nature. It's that type of thing. Whereas with religion, here it states, it says brick or mortal temple. And I really don't know what that means other than they're saying that it's a building, a church, a temple, and that type of thing. You have a pastor, you have a congregation, you have a meeting day in place. That's the only thing that I can say about, that. I don't really know what they mean because these are broken down, as you can see on the screen. And I'm just going to read our beliefs about God. First, we believe everyone has the divine within them, and it manifests itself in our uniqueness, our authenticity, and our unlimited power to create. Yes, God is a creator, and we're all creators. That's even in the Bible. It's like we're all created within in God's image. We don't all look alike, because God is not physical. God is spiritual. God is a spirit. God is an energy, a frequency that is within us. Okay. As we grow older and unconsciously create a conditioned self, a limited self image to protect ourselves from our greatness and end up with average lives. Yeah. A lot of times when we condition ourselves and we're following rules and different things, we're not being our true authentic self. Therefore, we're not tapping into our true talent, our true purpose for being here. What's really supposed to come to us, what's really supposed to happen with us. We're not tapping it what God really has intended for us. We're not following God's path. We're not following what our purpose for being here on earth is, and you have to go within to find it because we're all here for a reason. Everybody has their reason and their purpose for being here. And so you have to go within to find out why you're here and what you were put on this earth to be or to do. Because we all have a responsibility. We're all a part of, we're all connected. We all have our little things to do. So, we have to go within ourselves to find out what, we're here for. Secondly, spiritual coaching means we are helping our clients. I'm not going to read that. Okay, I'm not going to read that either. Let me go through my notes. Because I spoke about ego. Inner self is mental and spiritual. Spirituality teaches that we are energy, spirits, and our bodies are just shells. I talked about that. Spirituality also teaches that there's no such thing as death, only rebirth. Exactly. Like with it's like we die 1,000 times to be born again. Even we die within this life to be born again. And what that means is every time that you mature, every time that you grow, every time that, you become wiser, every time that you ascend, every time that you learn a lesson, every time that you gain wisdom, every time that you come from one condition to the next, every time that you become better, every time that you're like you become closer to who you are, that is a rebirth. When you're leaving your old bad ways, your old conditioned ways, or that is, and you're becoming more self-mastered, more self-sufficient, that's a rebirth. So, with spirituality, just like ashes to ashes, dust to dust, our body goes back to carbon, goes back to the dirt, to the earth, and our spirits linger on. So like we're on, we only die to be, we don't die. We just lose different components to elevate or to graduate to the next level of life. We elevate and we graduate to elevate to the next level of life. Okay. Religion blames man for mistakes and misfortunes, and that's what was meant by the sins. Whereas, like, the way we look at it in a spiritual way is like it's a lesson or a blessing. It's something there, even in the bad, it's something there for you to learn. There's nothing accidental, nothing coincident. Everything happens for a reason. So it's something that you must learn out of every experience, whether good or bad. Religion forbids you to look into those sciences. Yeah, like spirituality deals with all sciences. Spirituality connects you with nature, with the universe, with the stars, with the earth, which is all a part of yourself. Okay, religion instructs human to follow man and instructions. These are my own personal notes I'm going over to make sure that I cover everything. Spirituality teaches humans how to master self. Religion religion places you in a box and forbids you to live a complete, energetic, uh, a high frequency life to grow and to expand and to become better. Religion disconnects and forbids you from connecting with nature, the sun, the moon, the stars, ancestors, earth, birds, trees, plants, DNA, etc. So I think I pretty much covered all my notes, and this is going to be a part one. I don't want to take people too fast, if you know what, because I know some people are already like, spiritual. So like, and I know that there's things that, a lot of people wanted me to discuss, but I don't want to take people too fast. So, basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to introduce and break down the difference between spirituality and religion only. I don't want to offend anyone because, like, how it is. A lot of people, they don't, like, and how people have been taught. So, you know, I don't want, I'm trying to do this in a, like a peaceful, harmonious manner. Okay, so I'm gonna take time to read the chat. If there are any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. Renee Lottie said, "We are all unique particles of the source." Amen. I say the source too. The highest sources, the high source. That's right. Because language. I don't think they're saying God. I don't think they. When we're looking at the Creator, when we're looking at the high source, as a lot of times we're making the high source, the Creator, like man. I think that religion a lot of times makes God seem imperfect like man, and imperfect like man. But God is so much bigger than what we can even imagine. God is everything. The high source is everything. So I think that by us limiting a lot of times ourselves and putting ourselves in the box, we don't have the vision, the mental and the spiritual, to see the greatness of the high source, the greatness of the universe, the greatness of, like what we have here, because everything that we need, we have here on earth, and it replenishes itself. Even our bodies replenish itself. Our bodies, our mind can heal our body. Like we have everything that we need here on earth. We have everything that we need. It's just that because, like we've been conditioned, our minds have been conditioned, we don't see that, and we're limiting ourselves, and then we're looking at God and creation and nature and everything is such a limited thing, when it's not. That it's bigger and it's better and it's not as limiting. as we think. We are actually free. Our problems is mentally we're not free. You know, we can walk around doing whatever we want, but mentally, because you hear some people like, oh, they ain't gonna let us do this. Who is they? Who is they? You know, we limit our own selves. A lot of times we are our own worst enemies. And that's why I'm trying to expand and open the mind. And that's why I'm trying to put people on a different frequency and a different level, because a lot of the reasons we don't succeed or don't get what we want or get what we really need out of life or don't grow like we need to or don't find our purpose and our intention, don't find our true happiness, don't find our true selves is because we are our worst enemy and we limit ourselves. Because the majority of our lives we're spent looking on the outside of us. We're spent looking at everybody else instead of looking at the main source, who is us, who is me. I am responsible for me. Only I can limit myself. So that's my purpose of, you know, like, and I'm trying to do it in a, you know, like in a way where, you know, like people can fit, because it's like they also conditioned us to not, you know, they don't want you to feel free. They put blockades. That's why they say you can't, you know, don't, numerology is of the devil, this is of the devil, but they follow these sciences and stuff like that every day. And when I say they, I'm still going to say to myself, who is they? Because they comprise of not even who we think. Because a lot of times when we think of they, we're thinking of everything in a black and a white situation, when it's not as simple as a black and a white situation. It's much more complex than that. But the powers that be, the people who want to control us, the people who are getting paid every day for us being conditioned, for our minds being conditioned, you know, they want to keep us in this conditioned state. Therefore, you know, they do everything they can to keep our minds conditioned, to keep us restricted, to keep us limited. But only we can free we. And my purpose, part of my purpose and part of my reason for being here, my ancestors have me doing this. My ancestors have me reaching my people to tell my people, we are free. Open up your minds, communicate, connect. We are there. We are here for you. You just have to communicate with us. You just have to harmonize with us, with the high source. Stop going through all of these. How are y'all going to let somebody else tell you you got to go through this man, that man, this man, that man to get to your creator? That's just like somebody telling me I got to go through all these people to talk to my mama and daddy. That's just like somebody telling me I got to go through all these people to talk to myself. You get it? So we're conditioned and we're limited in the mind and we're allowing it. So you have to open up your mind. You have to free your mind, free your mental, your spirit, you know, free your mental. Your mind controls everything. So I hope I made a lot of sense with that. Feel free to ask questions. Let me know. I'm trying not to, because I could go real deep. People tell me I go real deep. So I'm trying not to go real deep because, you know, I want to reach everyone. And this is love. And it's because I want to see everyone to fulfill their, like, it's no reason to be greedy. No reason to compete. No reason to feel like I should get there. That's a part of spirituality before the next person, because I know that we all got it. It's enough here for everyone. No one is better than the next. We all have strengths and weaknesses. We all like, we're created to do different things. Therefore, if I'm created to do this, my strengths are going to lie here. My weaknesses might be over here. If somebody else is created to do this, their strengths are going to probably not be where mine are. And their weaknesses are going to be, you know, like where, you know, my strengths are. So, you know, like when we start, especially us as Black people, we are family. We are all connected. Black women, we're connected. We got to stop hating on each other. We got to stop. We got to learn how to love again. We got to learn how, unconditionally. We got to learn how to, like our ancestor did. Like even when I was coming up, when like people, like if something happened in our community or our neighborhood, because we own land. All right, most of the people that's on this same road that we're on, they've been here for over 100 years. Some of them are my relatives, you know what I'm saying, distant relatives, whatever. But at whatever reason, we could all be kin because they've been here for over 100 and some years. Everybody, nobody's, like these are descendants of people here. So like back in the day, like stuff happened. Everybody knows everybody. When stuff happens, people bring stuff. People bring money. We help out. We can't, like if somebody going through, we all help out. They have people that come here every other Saturday bringing food to everybody, the elderly, everybody, really. My cousins, really, they're my cousins. But that's how we are. If we're still like people talk about country people, right? But in the country, we still believe that, like, if we see somebody, especially now these days, it is a little dangerous. So, I'm not suggesting that you go and meet just walk up on no stranger. First of all, you got to be in tune with yourself, in tune with your spiritual, in tune with the, feeling, being able to feel that person's energy. But, like if we saw somebody stuck on the side of the road, we're going to go help them. We're not going to see another man down, especially someone that we know, and not help them up. And see, that's where we've gone wrong. So, I just came on here to, just basically point out the differences between spirituality and religion. And, just to open people's minds, hearts, and souls up a little bit. At least I tried. So y'all like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions or if you have any comments, or even if you want me to speak on another topic, or you want me to go a little bit more in depth on this topic, or on spirituality, or any different spiritual science, or spiritual law, or anything of that nature, then, hit me up in the comment sections and I'll see what I can do, because I'm not a master at everything. I like, some of you might be more masterful at some things than me. That's why we're all here and we're all going to work together. If you want to present it, I will provide you with the platform. Or, well, if you have a platform, then, I will lead people to, your area. So, like, basically, we're all here to grow, to help each other grow. Like I said, my strengths may be your weaknesses. Your weaknesses might be my strengths. And that's why we all need each other. So, if you have any ideas or anything dealing, like with our growth and us doing better and us expanding and us being able to just harmonize with each other better, just by all means, leave it in the comment section. And please, by all means, like this video, share this video. And until next time, I don't know what I'm going to speak on next time. I have to think about that, but I will let you know. But, like I like to do things from the heart. I like to do things as, like people say, when the spirit moves me. So, I'll let y'all know. I definitely posted a little early so you guys will know what I'm going to speak on. And if you have any ideas, make sure you leave it in there. And I'm also going to play our little outro music. And I like to say until the end, love, peace, and light to the family, and I will see you next time. Bear with me a moment. Let me get us started.
Eu desci, vou até o chão. Eu desci, vou até o chão, até o chão, até o chão. Desci, vou até o chão, desci, vou até o chão. Eu desci, vou até o chão, até o chão, até o
Let's say
chão.
good night. Peace, love, and light. Good night. Much love, harmony.
Eu desci, eu desci, eu desci, eu desci, eu desci, eu desci.